Good evening, I'm Mike Marute. Darrenisha has the night off. We begin with breaking news tonight in Uvalde, where a Texas House committee has released the most exhaustive account yet of the Robb Elementary mass shooting. Just minutes ago, the three members of a Texas House investigative committee discussed their new 77-page report detailing their investigation into the Robb Elementary school shooting. Here's a little bit of what was said.
My biggest fear, and I also shared this with them at the meeting, is that we will look for simple solutions to these complex answers. And we will all look and say, well, you know, that's the way it was in Uvalde, it's different here. Well, let me tell you, the people of Uvalde before this, they felt it couldn't happen here. They felt that. That's the false sense of security I worry about.
The shootings in Uvalde and El Paso have important differences. So do Midland, Odessa, and Sutherland Springs, and Santa Fe, and on and on. But they also have important similarities that we can understand and address as a state. Although today isn't the day for that discussion, that's what this report can and must lead to.
And joining me in studio tonight, KVUE senior investigative reporter Tony Plohetski. Tony, what is new in this 77-page report, considering we've heard so many conflicting stories over nearly 2 months?
Mike, I want to tell people we are still reading through and unpacking all 77 pages. But to be clear, it is almost as though the next sentence you read is worse than the first. This is a very emotional report to read, it is very painful to read, and it is a damning and devastating report, and again, really emotional to read. We have talked for 2 months about the law enforcement response that terrible day, and while this report cites that as a major factor in what happened, I want to be clear with you. It also places blame at the school and the school district and a host of other factors. Regarding law enforcement, the report says that 400 officers might descended on the school that day, but that there was no clear command and control who was in charge. It also says they had no sense of urgency in trying to combat what was happening. The school district police chief, who has been widely blamed, said he thought the gunman was inside a classroom alone with no children. But the report also blamed Robb Elementary school staff, saying that there was a culture of leaving doors opened and unlocked. The classroom where many of the children died had a broken lock that had been reported months earlier and had never been fixed. And the report cited social media and others who knew or had contact with the gunman who failed to properly alert authorities of his alarming behavior in the months and even years leading up to the shooting. One thing the report does also make clear is that investigators do believe that most of the children died within the first 3 minutes of this attack, when the gunman walked in that classroom, fired his way into that classroom, and opened more than 100 rounds, Mike, in that first 2.5 to 3 minutes. So again, a lot of new information becoming clear as this picture widens into what happened on May 24th. And frankly becomes more and more horrible.
One thing that caught my eye in this report was that there was this idea that the shooter had not had any contact with guns previous to this.
That's exactly right. But the report does talk about the life of the shooter. Again, while certainly not wanting to glorify him, investigators said they also want to provide information about his behavior in the months, weeks, even years leading up to this, that they say should have caused people to do something or say something, particularly his social media messages, but also the fact that he had been bullied apparently in his life. That was information that the report brought forward as well. But again, his own uncle, according to this report, took him to buy the AR-15 that he used that awful day at Robb Elementary School.
And 376 officers, most of them were state or federal officers. What does it say about this response that they did not take over, or at least that they did not take over faster?
That is such a significant fact. Again, just to reiterate, there are so many significant facts in this report, but I want to tell you why that is particularly striking, and that is, for weeks, I think we've all had this idea that frankly has been nurtured, which is that this was a small town school district police department, a small town police department that did not have the skills or the expertise to take on something like this. While yes, it is true, they were the very first to arrive that day, it was not long before we saw this mass of law enforcement who investigators and lawmakers who compiled this report are very clear. They should have had the expertise, the knowledge, and the training to do something far faster than they did, Mike.
Well, Tony, thank you so much. You've been covering this since May 24th. Thank you for so much thorough reporting and being here this evening.
Thank you.